Welcome to yet another episode of Susegat Stories with Shiva. Today, I'm going to make you meet a very interesting personality. He has many faces and many talents. He's a filmmaker, he's an artist, he's a perfect cook, and most of all, he's a very kind and a gentle human being. He has moved to Goa about 8 years back, and before that, he was working in Bombay as a filmmaker. Not only Bombay, he's worked in the South Indian film industry too. So, today we are going to talk about his life in Goa, his career in the films, and he will take it from there. Let me introduce you to Mr. Srinivas Bhashyam. Welcome to the show, Mr. Bhashyam.
Thank you.
I'm very honored to have you on my show, Susegat Stories with Shiva,
Sure.
and it means a lot to me.
It means a lot to me too.
So I would like to go back to your childhood before anything else. Where were you raised?
I am from Bangalore, born and brought up.
Which part of Bangalore?
Malleshwaram. It's an old, traditional, beautiful area. Remains one of the best areas even today in Bangalore.
Right. Although I haven't been to Bangalore for many years now, the culture of Bangalore has completely died down. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable. It's a IT city. It's got investment from all over the world, and dollars have poured in, and people from all over India have moved and worked there. So it's bound to change drastically.
So, do you think if we compare Goa to Bangalore, do you think the same is happening to Goa?
No, there's no comparison.
How many languages do you speak in all?
I guess I understand 6 or 7 languages, but I speak about 5 of them, and I think I read, write, speak about 4 languages.
Can you name them?
I read, write, speak Kannada, Tamil, Hindi, English. I understand and speak to some extent Telugu. I understand Malayalam. I understand Bangla. And quite a few of them, thanks to watching a lot of movies in those languages too.
Do you particularly enjoy watching Bangla films?
Not anymore, but
Why so?
they've changed.
So, who were your famous directors and actors from the Bangla film industry?
I guess when I was growing up, the obvious ones like Satyajit Ray, Mrinal Sen, Ritvik Ghatak.
Any particular film that has stayed with you in your heart?
I think it's everybody's favorite, which is Satyajit Ray's Apu trilogy.
So I've heard that you were an avid film lover, and you would bunk school even to go to watch movies. What age were you when you started watching films, going to the cinema halls to watch films?
Yeah, luckily I belong to very film loving middle class educated family in Bangalore. So we were all quite multilingual. So my family, all of them, even till date, they love movies. So they used to sometimes take me along to movies in Kannada or English or Tamil and Hindi as a kid. And then once I was a teenager, of course, I got really obsessed with films. And then I also joined film societies and things like that. Started watching world cinema.
Oh, wow. Any particular film that has stayed with you from your teens?
Many of them. I think there is just far too many.
I mean, like it's not just watching the film, it's the experience of going to the theater, getting the tickets, sitting on your seat, waiting in anticipation, and watching that film. Can you describe any such incident that has happened with you?
Once I was a teenager, I think almost every movie going experience was special, anticipated, much thrilling, and especially because a lot of the times as a 14, 15, 16-year-old, I used to be either bunking school or college. I didn't go to college really, but bunking school and going to films, and because of that, slightly, it was forbidden to go to so many
Yes,
movies and all
yes.
kinds of movies, and I would even watch adult movies as a kid. So it was, every experience was thrilling, and cinema itself was something that interested me so much as a kid. I lived in fantasy land. I was a lover of comic books, and I was a lover of mythology. So quite naturally, movies.
So, which film has impacted you then when you were a teenager? I'm not talking about now.
Yeah.
Then, like when you saw it, you said, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
I've never seen something like this."
Again, I think I'm not very limited in the kind of films I like. So I've loved lots and lots of movies.
Can you name a few?
Yeah, no.
During your teenage years, which you watched, and during your teenage years, what were the kind of films that influenced you or impacted you?
Personally, I can say, since you as a teenager, you have a lot of imagined angst. You're a little bit angry for no reason at the world, and you're
So Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first time stumbled upon Diwar, I didn't intend watching that film. With a friend, somehow I couldn't get tickets for Dharmatma, which was an adult film. So we ended up buying tickets for the movie that was showing next door. And so I ended up walking into Diwar, and I must say Amitabh Bachchan and the movie both blew me away completely. I became a fan of Amitabh Bachchan since that movie, because he was just extraordinary angry young man and rebellious figure, and Salim Javed's writing was so powerful that you have the typical teenage identification with a rebel.
Right. What age did you start watching international cinema?
I think I was lucky. My father was very broad-minded, intellectual, and very culturally oriented. He was a classical music critic, and he used to write in the newspapers. But he was also interested in movies. So he started taking me along to watch international films at the Max Müller-Bauern, German films, Alliance Française for French films, and Film Society for all kinds of European films and Iranian films and so on and so forth. And so he persuaded the Film Society to give me a membership, even though I was underage. You have to be 18 and over. But he sort of managed to convince them that no, he's interested in. So I started watching international cinema at the age of 15, maybe. Yeah.
And what did you think of those international films that you watch, and could you name some that you watched
Yeah.
at that time?
Yeah, I guess as always, for someone growing up watching only Indian films, watching international cinema completely opens up a range of possibilities culturally, cinematically. So you realize that there is so much going on, and then the other aspect is that you realize there are so many other kinds of cultures and points of view and politics and everything. So it's fascinating. So without traveling the world at that age, you start getting some glimpse.
It was kind of an education for you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and you could say that about the rest of my life also.
Yeah.
A lot of cinema and actually cinema and travel, I would say, has educated me more than
Formal education.
yeah. I dropped out of high school. I have not studied beyond 10th standard, SSLC as we used to call it. So this was part of my education. Apart from books and music, cinema was part
But you
of my
haven't answered my question. What were the kind of international cinemas that you were watching when you were a teenager?
Yeah, so the
Can you
range.
name a few?
Yeah, because of it was German, French, and world cinema, there was such a wide range of films. So I saw all kinds of international films by all kinds of international film directors. So I can't, separate just one or two. I would be missing quite a few. So I would say that I sort of, till then I used to know only Hollywood films as foreign films, as something,
Yeah.
English films as we used to call them. But this non-English language films, they opened up my world in a fascinating way.
What age were you when you must have watched Cinema Paradiso?
But that was much later.
Much later.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to get that one film that you must have watched when you were 15, 16 years old. One foreign film.
No, usually when you're an avid film lover, what happens is that for different aspects, you like different films. So this one film, two films usually don't, impress you more than the others. There's a whole range of films and directors and.
No, but just for us to get an idea what kind of movie Mr. Srinivas Bhasyam was watching when he was 16, 17 years old, can you name a few?
I can give random examples,
Yes.
but the films of Rainer Werner Fassbinder from Germany, Werner Herzog from Germany, all the new wave films from the late 50s and 60s from France, Iranian films which were emerging in a big way in the last 3 decades. So these were the films that fascinated me most, just to name a few, and there were these obscure and very I would say, strikingly different filmmakers like Andrei Tarkovsky from Russia, and he's considered very arty-farty, but he's a fascinating poet of cinema. So I got such a range of exposure.
So I believe when you were a teenager, you would also review films on a weekly basis.
Yes, actually, yeah. I started noticing that the film reviews in the newspapers in Bangalore, because back then we only had film reviews in newspapers. There was no film reviews anywhere else. There was no internet, and even television was not much into film reviewing. So the film reviews I noticed in Bangalore were very limited, and they would say some general thing and narrate the story a lot. So I was as a teenager, so I was a little brash, and I went to the newspapers editors and said, I think I can write slightly better informed film reviews than your reviewers, and they were amused, I think, and they asked me to write some sample reviews of films that were running, and I did write some reviews, and I think they liked my approach, and they realized that I know a little bit about cinema and maybe a little bit more than their established reviewers in cinema. So I think it was quite brash of me, but I was very thrilled to be able to actually go watch films, which I was already doing.
Yes.
And now I had a purpose,
too.
and I could actually.
And you were getting paid for it.
I was getting, all my tickets were getting paid, and I was getting paid for the reviews, and that was quite fascinating. It also, I think, brought kind of a discipline and rigor to my approach to watching films, a little bit analyzing them, and not just writing the story of the movie in the name of reviews, but actually talking about the various aspects that go into filmmaking. Because by then I was actually getting deeply interested in how films are made and written and directed. So that's how. So for a couple of years, I actually reviewed movies for various newspapers. I went from one newspaper to another, and it was a beautiful experience.
So did you review just South Indian films or Hindi films, or did you also review international films?
Yeah, predictably, I reviewed films in all languages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because Bangalore is the only city where even in the 1990s, 1980s, 1990s, Bangalore was the only city where at any given time 6 to 7 languages, movies in these 6 to 7 languages were running. There was no city in India where that was happening.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and because I was a little bit multilingual, it helped that I could watch films in Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, and Hollywood films that would come to theatres, and I would review films in all these 5 languages.
Oh, wow.
So it was a huge advantage, but sometimes it was also too much of a pressure given every weekend. There would be a foreign film, I mean there would be a Hollywood film and a Tamil film and a Hindi film and maybe even a Kannada film. So I had to sometimes review multiple films in every weekend.
So my exposure to film was also quite early, but I was brought in a very small town in Nepal, which had a big block of brick hall as a hall, and they just had these wooden benches.
Yeah.
And I remember going for the peanuts, and that the most third grade Hindi films would come there, and we would be munching on our peanuts and clapping away and watching those films. So I was not exposed to international films till much later, till I met you actually. And then I was like, oh my God, this also exists. And I think watching international films opened up avenues in my own mind of storytelling and refined my mind as a better storyteller.
As a writer?
As a writer.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Do you believe a critique should be completely objective, or is subjectivity inevitable and even necessary?
Yeah, I think to be honest, all criticism is subjective. So it makes sense. I read a particular film reviewer or film critic because of their particular point of view each time. You know, so if there is a very objective form of reviewing anything, then everybody would sound the same.
Yeah. How has your personal approach to critiquing films evolved over the years? Your personal approach?
I have not been a film reviewer past the age of 19 or 20.
I mean, in your little room while you're watching movie.
No, I see. Once I became a film maker later, I was no more thinking, approaching it like a film critic. But of course, you learn something about, you know, what makes storytelling and what makes films the way really effective filmmakers do it, and from which you hope to learn the best aspects that appeal to you. But it's still very subjective. So I guess it took me a while to learn to let go of a critic's approach and just enjoy movies for whatever they bring in, each movie brings in.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
So, at what stage of your life did you decide to become a filmmaker?
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, so it was quite a logical progression. Uh, Being such an avid film watcher and then write reviews of films. So at some stage when I was probably 20 years old, I wrote a short film along with my friend Sundar Sarukai, who's now a philosopher and fiction writer. And we've been childhood friends. So I wrote a short film with him, and then I actually shot it on 16 mm film, like back in those days in black and white. And we had written it in such a way that it didn't require dialogue, so it was a silent movie, but it had a story and it was 13 minutes long. And I used my friends, part of a theatre group and a close friend of mine, and I used locations which were in my neighborhood in Malleshwaram, Bangalore, and I used a friend's car, and so, just adjusted everything what in Hindi they call jugaad. So, but it was fascinating that in just about 1.5 days I shot this film, because the motivation was to enter a
competition.
Yeah, a short film competition which was on, and I was lucky. I actually won a prize in it.
Oh wow!
And got a prize which was more than the money I spent on the film. So it was a profitable film. My dad, my late father, actually funded it.
Yeah.
He almost gave me, I think, his 1 month's salary, which was fascinating.
Wow.
He believed that that I might have some talent.
So your dad really believed in you.
Yeah, and he also was a film lover.
Yeah.
So that was the experience of making a short film, and that led to a chain of events, which is actually a very well-known Kannada filmmaker who is nationally acclaimed artistic filmmaker, Girish Kasaravalli. He noticed my short film and he hired me to work with him, as an assistant and part-time art director, assistant director on the film that he was going to make next. And that was a feature film, very serious feature film called Tabarana Kate. It had Kamal Haasan's older brother Charu Haasan as the central protagonist, and it was a very low budget film but very well made. And I learnt a lot by working with Girish Kasaravalli, and I continued to work with him over a couple of years on a couple of films that he co-wrote or directed. So that was a fascinating time. I also got to travel and get to know the rural parts of Karnataka and Malnad, beautiful areas of Karnataka. So that was a great learning experience. I also got lucky with Girish Kasaravalli to have met some of the great writers when they were still alive. One of them was an idol of mine called Purnachandra Tejasvi, who is a great writer. And during the making of Tabarna Kate, which was written by Purnachandra Tejasvi, I got to interact with him, stay with him in his house over the years. And later I met U.R. Ananthamurthy, who's another great writer. So all that, so the short film led to a director taking me to be assist, and then it went on to, and so after that it was a series of events when I am chasing opportunities to work on more films, to learn more filmmaking, since I didn't go to a film school. And so a lot of luck happened and a lot of persistence happened from my side. So when persistence meets luck, as they say.
Perfect balance.
So the actor who was working, Kamal Haasan's older brother Charu Haasan, who was working on Tabarna Kate, he later helped me to get in touch with Mani Ratnam, who was his son-in-law.
Oh.
And then Mani
Ratnam
Ratnam
took Mani Ratnam.
Yeah, and then he took me as an assistant director, and it was fascinating. I then worked with Mani Ratnam on his landmark film Bombay.
Oh wow!
And Manisha Koirala, who was the heroine of Bombay, she later called me to Bombay and produced my first feature film as a director. So this was
one
both.
Thing led to the other.
Yeah, it was persistence and luck.
Yeah. So how was it working with under Mani Ratnam?
very similar in some ways to Girish Kasaravalli, in the sense that these are really passionate filmmakers, very sincere filmmakers, and very hard-working filmmakers. So they don't. These are people who don't rely on just talent or just imagination and pretension. They work very hard. They prepare very well. They form very good teams, and they write down everything on paper, plan ahead, and then they let things happen also. So their sincerity of work and focus and trying to be innovative within limitations, all of these are admirable qualities, and one tries to sort of imbibe them. At the same time, one doesn't want to become a mimic filmmaker. So when you later want to make your own independent films, you try and do something
different,
which is of your own, and what really comes out from you. Because you can also become a good mimic filmmaker, but if not, you can try and do your own stuff that interests you. So I think it was very, very useful. I think that was my education, working with Girish Kasaravalli, Mani Ratnam. I also worked a couple of years with Kamal Haasan, actor, producer, director.
What did you do with him?
So Kamal Haasan, similarly, I met him at a film festival, accidentally, had conversations with him, and then subsequently he invited me over to Chennai and he said, you can work in my production. So I became an assistant director on a film that he was writing and producing called Magalir Mattum. And Singitam Srinivasa Rao, who had earlier directed one of the most fascinating films, dialogue-less films, which is mistakenly called silent film. It is actually a dialogue-less film with sound, called Pushpak.
Okay.
And so he was directing a new film with 3 women as heroines, and it was a comedy. And Kamal Haasan, allotted. He just assigned me to assist Mani Ratnam. Singitam Srinivasa Rao on this Magalir Mattum. It was again. Singitam Srinivasa Rao is somebody who is very different from Mani Ratnam or Kamal Haasan or Girish Kasaravalli. He's a man who appears very light and very unfocused, but he is so fascinatingly intelligent and witty and a very, very joyous director. So that was my first experience working with Kamal Haasan, and I've sort of over the years he made me actually act in one of the films that he was producing and writing, which was a remake of Dhrokal. It was a Tamil movie called Kurudi Punal, which was so I played a terrorist in that. And so Kamal Haasan, Mani Ratnam, these people encouraged me a lot in many ways, learnt a lot watching them.
So are you still in touch with these 3 mentors of yours?
Absolutely.
Girish Kasaravalli, Mani Ratnam, and
True, yes. I do occasionally stay in touch with them. They are wonderful people. Their love for cinema and doing something original, and their constant exploration to do something always is inspiring.
And then you entered Bollywood.
Yeah, I don't like the word Bollywood. You can say Hindi cinema.
Hindi cinema.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about a stint of your Bollywood days?
Yeah, not very long. I would say that, like I mentioned earlier, Manisha Koirala, whom I met as an actress on Bombay, some years later she called me and said she's going to produce a small film. Can I come and direct a film? So we explored several possibilities. I was about to on the verge of directing a film with Nasiruddin Shah, Deepti Nawal and Manisha Koirala, and somehow that wasn't coming through very easily. I had actually Jagjit Singh as the music director. I had Gulzar Saab who had agreed to write the dialogues and lyrics.
Amazing.
Yeah, somehow, despite all this, the the production was not happening yet.
Yes.
But Manisha was also, keen that, in the meanwhile, let's make a film.
Yes.
So I ended up, co-writing a small, tiny budget caper film with Anurag Kashyap, whom I met in Bombay. And so that's how something called Paisa Vasool happened. It had two women doing what usually Govinda and Chanki Pandey back in those days would have done.
Yeah.
It was a crime comedy, a very small budget. It was
Female protagonists.
yeah, so Manisha Koirala and Sushmita Sen, both of whom were very enthusiastic to do something female-led, because back 2 decades ago, there were, these kind of films were not being made yet. So it was quite fun. We just shot it in a shoestring budget over a couple of weeks. It was quite great fun.
And after Paisa Vasool, did you do any other Hindi films?
Yeah, I was actually exploring possibilities of making a Tamil film, and I was also, of course, my first feature film. Sorry if I confused. My first feature film was actually a Kannada film. It was it had a bunch of newcomers and a couple of known actors. But prominent, it was called Shanti Shanti Shanti, and prominently it had
This was before you came to Bombay.
Yes, that's true. Yes, after Chennai and working with these people, and with Kamal Haasan, Mani Ratnam sir, I came to Bangalore, back to Bangalore, and I again did a small caper, humorous, youthful film, mostly newcomers, but it had an actor called Abbas, who was well known back then. But it was also the debut of Madhavan. Yeah,
yes.
I had sort of stumbled across Madhavan doing television, and so he had a sort of shared the movie along with Abbas. There were 2 guys and 2 girls.
But he stands out as the main protagonist in the movie.
Yeah, he was good fun, and he was. I think it was almost virtually his first big screen feature debut. And later Mani Ratnam sir took him in Alaipaide, and that became a big hit. And that's how Madhavan even today is known as he debuted in Alaipaide, but he was already there, debuting in my.
So you were the one who brought Madhavan first to this big screen.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. And you did that with Randeep Hooda also, right?
No, Randeep Hooda was actually, when I met him, he was doing theatre with Nasiruddin Shah. I knew Nasiruddin Shah because I had worked with him on a Kannada film with Girish Kasaravalli. So I was sort of Kannada dialogue coach for Nasiruddin Shah and Deepthi Naval and Rohini Hattangadi on that film called Mani by Girish Kasaravalli. So later when I met Nasiruddin Shah, he was doing theatre, and one of the guys in his troupe was Randeep Hooda, and I thought that he is a very bright young guy. And Nasir particularly told me, if you're going to make a film, take this guy. He's very talented. And Randeep had already done Monsoon Wedding, and I remembered that in a small role.
It was a small role.
In Monsoon Wedding. He was very good.
Yeah.
So I wanted to cast him in Paisa Vasool, but it was on. He was getting trained to do some, wheelchair, something in it. But eventually what happened was that in the last minute, Ram Gopal Verma came to know that I was casting somebody young and new, and he called over Randeep and he said, don't do a small role in a film. I'm going to launch you as a lead role in a film. So Randeep spoke to me and I said, okay, great.
But that film never happened.
No, that did happen. It happened much later for him. And Sushant Singh,
Rajput.
No, not Rajput. Sushant Singh.
Oh.
He played Randeep's role in Paisa Vasool.
Okay.
But a couple of years later, I did make a film with Randeep Hooda called Love Khichdi, where he played this.
But had he done before doing Love Khichdi? Had Randeep Hooda done any other main lead films?
I think maybe, I'm not sure, maybe the Ram Gopal Verma gangster film might have come a little earlier, or it came a little later, I'm not sure. But he had done a couple of films as main lead, because over the couple of years he started getting roles.
Okay.
But Love Khichdi was again a small budget film, but it was amusing. You know, it was about a North Indian chef who is very macho, and a bunch of 6 heroines sort of, you know, prove to be smarter than him. They outsmart him, and he ends up looking like a bit of a joker. I co-wrote this film with Manu Joseph, who used to be a journalist back then, and today, of course, he's a novelist, columnist, and he's also written Netflix series. So that was his debut as a screenwriter with me on Love Khichdi.
So today, a lot of South Indian films are getting bigger applause, making a lot of money, becoming big trends. And so what are they doing down there? That is
Interesting.
And you know, even people like Karan Johar and all are trying to remake movies from the south. So what is happening down there?
It's very complex and difficult to answer this question, I think. But everybody will give different, you know, answers. But I think basically it is that Hindi cinema is unfortunately concentrated in Bombay city only. So it has an advantage in the sense that it can make very urban, cool, slightly westernized movies that can be trendsetters and fashionable. But if you want something very Indian and authentic, it often comes from smaller towns and directors and writers from smaller towns, and that is what has been happening for several decades now in Tamil cinema, Malayalam cinema, and to some extent in Kannada cinema, and to a lesser extent in Telugu cinema, because Telugu cinema still till date resembles Hindi cinema much more. So this slightly rootedness of Tamil cinema, Malayalam cinema is what is making them unique and coming up with very authentic Indian stories. Plus, I think Telugu cinema has gone back to making the kind of 70s and 80s big blockbuster macho films from Hindi cinema. They're making similar films now. And as many people have pointed out, Hindi cinema, Bombay-based younger directors and writers have forgotten the larger-than-life, you know, masala cinema. So these guys provided the same old dish in slightly new form. And I think that is appealing to an all-India audience who had been ignored a lot by Bombay filmmakers, who had become too westernized, too urban, you know, too cool for their own good, I guess. So, for example, in Tamil cinema, the new directors and writers, they always came from small towns and villages to Chennai, and they brought their culture and stories and rooted, you know, feelings and emotions. A lot of Bombay industry encourages urban kids, their, you know, friends and relatives, and it's only in the last 10 years that Hindi cinema has started taking writers and directors from small towns all over North India, and which is why the color and the feel of Hindi cinema is also changing. But that is the strength of getting original stories. Of course, Malayalam cinema is the best. It is so unique that they make completely rooted and yet universal stories, and that is a phenomenon.
So, if you were to recommend some good Malayali films to our audience, what would you recommend?
Oh, in the last at least 5-6 years, the Malayalam cinema has grown in, you know, in such a fantastic way. Everybody is talking about it. Fortunately, a lot of Malayalam cinema today is available with English subtitles, so that anybody who can read English subtitles can watch it anywhere in
so
India.
Which ones would you suggest, your favorite ones?
There are many which anybody who watches Malayalam cinema will know, but I'll still repeat them. Some years ago, a masterpiece small film called Kumbalangi Nights came, and that was such a trendsetter. And it's about three brothers set in a small village, and it just takes unusual approach.
Yeah, just the names, please.
Yeah. And more recently, I mean, I'll just jump. So more recently, just a year ago, story of a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law in the most unusual way called Ullorakku. Now these are films that I'm mentioning are all available between Netflix, Amazon, and a couple of easily accessible channels and OTT platforms. So this is just a sample, but there are so many amazing, fascinating Malayalam cinema, and I'm not surprised. I'm glad that even North India, which used to be very ignorant about even the difference between the 4 states in South India, now are sitting and watching all these films, and they are motivated by how profitable those films are, but still they are getting exposed to wonderful films.
Do you believe cinema is more a mirror to society or an escape from it?
Yeah, cinema is often blamed for violence or some trends or influencing people. I think that's not true mostly. Even when cinema glorifies so one thing over the other, it only influences somebody who's a young or a very impressionable mind, but those minds could be influenced by many things, even real life. So I don't think cinema has such a large impact or a lasting impact in good or bad ways. If that was so, I mean, forever films have been showing that only good triumphs in the end. All evil is punished in the end. That cinema has been telling us all the time. So the world should have been a wonderful place. No, it doesn't happen. So it's quite complex and confusing. It's not so simple, I think.
Okay, Srinivas, so I have this question for you. It's a little twisted one. If you had to choose a select few films to represent humanity to an alien civilizations, which would they be and why?
Oh, that of course is quite difficult, but I would say maybe the films of Charlie Chaplin. I think it has humor, it has a lot of our universal emotions, absurdities, and the human dilemmas, interpersonal drama, and it's very alive, it's got a lot of kinetic movement, and so it might represent the range of emotions, what we in India call navarasas. So it has all the range of emotions. So maybe the films of Chaplin might be fascinating for aliens to sort of look at and understand what humanity might be.
And what about Mr. Bean's?
Yeah, actually you're right. Mr. Bean is also very, very fascinating. But Mr. Bean has less obvious pathos. It is more humor. And Mr. Bean has less sentimentality. It's a little more, physical comedy, but Mr. Bean is fantastic, more than the Mr. Bean movies, all the television episodes where there used to be almost minimal dialogue, episodes of humor, they are some of the best slapstick comedy ever made. So the Mr. Bean movies for me are a little less fascinating than this comedy. It was almost, for me, Mr. Bean episodes on television were as great as Charlie Chaplin, and or maybe even Jacques Tati from France. And one of my all-time favorites, Buster Keaton from early Hollywood. These guys were masters of, humor, and that's very, very difficult.
What drew you to Goa?
I guess you drew me to Goa. Yeah, you convinced me to move to Goa. I was a little bit reluctant, thinking that it's a holiday spot, but beyond some days it might be a little monotonous. But I didn't realize how wonderful Goa can be, and especially the non-touristy, away from the beaches. Goa is a lovely place to live, and it sort of also reminded me, I think, I realized it later, of my childhood Bangalore, which was very green and clean and peaceful.
Yeah.
So some parts of small town, rural Goa, it reminded me of my childhood Bangalore in a way. But Goa is truly, I mean, we are lucky to be able to live in Goa.
Srinivas, so we've come to the end of our conversation here. And I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. They are quirky, and whatever comes to your mind, just a one word or two word, just answer it. Is change real or only apparent?
I don't know. I think I'll answer in cliches. Change is the only constant.
Perfect. What is consciousness? How does it relate to the physical brain?
I will again mention an old cliche. What is mind? No matter. What is matter? Never mind.
Is reality material, spiritual, or a combination of both?
I have yet to meet reality. I've been living in my head for quite long. So I have to deal with the monkey upstairs. So I will let you know when the day I meet reality.
So this is my last question to you, Srinivas. If the universe is infinite, what does that mean for the meaning and uniqueness of our existence?
Oh my God. Okay, I can only think of a quote from one of my favorite writers, Douglas Adams. So it goes like this. In the beginning, the universe was created, and this made a lot of people very angry and has been widely regarded as a very bad move. With that, we say cut.